Truck owners and drivers under the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Plateau State Council, embarked on a protest over the incessant killings of drivers and destructions of trucks in the southeast region of the country. The truck drivers claim that their members have been consistently targeted, killed and had their trucks destroyed, vandalized and burnt by gunmen in the region. They were protesting at the branch office in Larato, Takatko area of Jos North government area of Plateau State on Sunday, displaying placards with different inscriptions to drive home their messages, which borders on frequent attacks by suspected members of indigenous peoples of Biafra. Some of the communities and routes identified as dangerous access include Enugu and routes to Lobanta to Okigwe and Okigwe to Umahia in Abia State. The protesters are calling for intervention and prosecution of perpetrators of the attacks to avoid a boycott of the transportation of goods to that part of the country. We just, in a similar related development of the sit-at-home order by the non-state actors that you mentioned. You know, this is also an alleged situation of the truck drivers protesting against killings by the Ipob members. You know, imagine these people boycott transporting goods to the southeast. The more economic the value it will actually cost, and it probably higher buzzword, because the less the supply, the higher the price. Yes, and all of that. Imagine this actually kind of thing happen. And let's say this is an alleged situation as it stands from the Truck Drivers Association coming out to cry over this incessant attack by Ipob members, you know, of killing them, attacking them. I've heard a series of stories about that particular route, you know, of this particular set of people, you know, indulging in this destructive attitude and all of that. Well, I'd love to get your thoughts on this incident.
Well, it's almost related to what we just talked about. I keep saying that if you allow abomination to stay too long in a society, it becomes a way of life, and that has, you know, continuously be the case in the southeastern part of this country. When you allow people to, you know, arrogate certain authorities to themselves for too long, you know, they begin to see themselves as an order, you know, as a government of some sort. Already, like you rightly pointed out, if these people decide to cut, you know, the supply of the things they bring to this part of the country, and there's a shortfall in these commodities, it will amount to a hike in the price of the goods that comes from that region. So it's not even an allegation. Myself, I've seen a whole lot of, you know, these things happen, you know, on the internet, and the ones we hear about, the ones we experience personally, and, you know, so it's something that I think the government should have handled already. I mean, if the federal government, you know, knows its responsibility to the people, before now, these issues have been lingering, you know, within the geographical space of this country.
Okay.
How people will be attacked just because you have, you know, certain misgiving against the government. As a Nigerian, you have every right to go to every part of this country.
Really?
Unless, of course, there's a state of emergency. Otherwise, why would somebody that is going about his legitimate duty be stopped and attacked within our territory?
Okay,
so
let me hold you there.
It's frustrating, and it goes to show
let me hold you there.
how the government is failing to protect lives and property.
Let me hold you there a little bit, Mr. Mufasa. You talked about the issue in the north, the insecurity in the north, and then the Ipob attack, the sit-at-home order, and whatnot that has been going on in most parts of the country. We do not want to talk about River State at the moment, you know, but these are main states that we know are really, really affected at the moment from insecurity and whatnot. and all of that's going on. Do you think there is a political orchestration going on here? The reason why the government have not actually decided to put heads together, and put all of this issue affecting the country to an end. In the North as it stands now, most schools are closed down. We're not talking about the Ramadan issue here, about the insecurity aspect, and the Boko Haram also attacked a particular school recently, and it's just been on and on for a long time. Why have they not decided to put heads together and put a stop to all of this insurgency going on?
You know what, it's a matter of priority on the part of government, and it's quite unfortunate. As far as I'm concerned, if the primary responsibility of government is to protect lives and property, I wonder where their priority lies. It's not as if this is something that just happened, suddenly. This has been with us for a very long period of time. And if a government is serious in curbing, the menace caused by insecurity, across the country, I'm sure by now it would have been put to a complete stop. Okay. Of course, insecurity cannot be totally eradicated, but we're talking about incessant attack and abduction going on within and around the country, especially in the northeast and northwest western part of this country. For me, it takes a lot of courage to stand for what you believe in as a leader. If you have an agenda, to solve a problem, if you have a determination and commitment to solve a problem, and you have all the resources, because as far as I'm concerned, the Nigerian state has more than what it takes to combat and fight this insurgency and criminality, even the ones that we have in the southeast. But talking about the political aspect of it, that is where I cannot completely, pin a feather on, because I'm aware that the people that suffer the most are the people who reside in that region. Assuming without even considering that there are political undertones, you that is an indigene, you that is a member of that community, that is aware of the activities of those people, that know some of these assailants, what have you done as a community to ensure that you safeguard yourself? I'm not talking about taking up arms against these people, because some of them, the kind of arms they wield are very sophisticated weapons. But also providing information. Let it be on record that as a community, you play your role to say, okay, identify the criminals amongst you, fish them out, and then move out to the police. But some of these persons are guided, are protected by their own people, like a monster that you grow gradually, becomes an hydra-headed problem, that becomes very difficult to control. But then again, like I've said before, a government that has that commitment, determination, and strong will to put this thing to the barest minimum will do so if he really, wants to perform optimally and be alive to his responsibility, which is primarily to protect lives and property. These are ragtag criminal elements. They don't have the kind of training, the kind of sophistication that the Nigerian army or the Nigerian police has. But then again, I don't know, perhaps, of course, these are rumors. But we hear that there are certain elements within the corridors of power that are benefiting from, all these insecurities that we're having in this country.
Thank you.
But on the long run, the Nigerian populace are the ones that are meant to suffer for it. So it is time that they rose to the occasion and ensure that this thing does not drive the people to the extent where we begin to embark on jungle justice. And the consequences of when people begin to resort to self-help, it becomes a state of anarchy and chaos.
Thank you so much.